Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. I'm going to record a few short funks associated with my changing emotions for this form, the form of podcasting. And I wanted to start by talking about a period of time that I rarely talk about, which was probably 2006, 2007. I started recording podcasts in 2006. I did a few feeble attempts in 2005, but it wasn't until 2006 that I got an MP3 recorder or a digital recorder with sufficient audio knockout and other things. I mean, I must have spent $80 on it. But I purchased a digital recorder and used it exclusively for podcasting, and I created stereo podcasts through that period of time. It was a very interesting period for me because I was, I guess, discovering the form with minimal technology and refusing to accept that podcasting had to be expensive and required a lot of, additional technology. The irony is I record this into maybe $150 microphone with pop guard, background foam, all this kind of stuff. So through this period of time, I was really creating what podcasting meant to me. And the first year was pretty interesting. I mean, it was pretty extraordinary, actually, that just recording on topics associated with artificial life, both with regards to my own noble ape development, but also with regards to the biota community, that I could actually engage with quite a number of folk. But by the end, I started in April, and by the end of 2006, I was just really exhausted with the whole form. There was a lot of negativity. I'd released podcasts, particularly associated with Richard Dawkins, where I'd just get a lot of hate mail, and it was just a really curious time where, I guess I was just discovering some aspect of myself through the form of podcasting. And I said at the end of 2006 that I was going to stop podcasting primarily because I was just sick of all the negative energy that this thing created. And I didn't really, independently of my own choice of direction, like the direction that the form was taking. And what I did in 2007, 2008 is really try to rally some of those things, submitting critical feedback and then being interviewed on the Podcast 411 podcast, which was Rob Walsh's podcast, which influenced a lot of people to start these podcasts, typically on Libsyn, where people had to end up charging money because Libsyn has all these curious means of accounts, and you have to put up only a certain amount of podcasts per month, and then they control a bunch of things. Libsyn is still active to this day, and a number of people still use Libsyn. A number of people still find themselves in this predicament where after a certain amount of time you have to start charging money for your podcast through some means. And Rob Walsh was a big advocate for people getting sponsors, and this was going to be a huge commercial boon, and podcasts were the way of the future, and all this kind of stuff. So the end of 2006, I was just done with it all. And in 2007, early 2007, I realized I actually liked having a voice through this thing. So I continued recording Ape Reality, I continued recording Biota Live. Actually, what I did through this period was not continue to record Biota Live, but actually develop the Biota Live format, where people would call in, and it was like an active community, and I felt a degree of buoyancy through that period of time. And obviously Model Rail Radio is an exact copy of that, except associated with a topic that a lot more people want to talk about. So my change in thinking through 2006 through 2007 was mainly just associated with how small this thing was at the time, and also the kinds of folks that were corresponding with me and communicating with me. I think I myself, I returned to the US in 2005, found work, what have you. It was a relatively traumatic period. 2006 was similarly traumatic. I was in a job in a very strange company. As my wife points out, this is the worst job I've ever had in terms of financial remuneration, but also for a variety of other factors. And I guess I was just reinventing myself. I'd invented myself leaving Australia and in the US. I reinvented myself in the UK. Coming back to the US, I had to reinvent myself again. And podcasts were part of that, but my frustration level got so high in 2006, I was just going to stop the whole thing. But I continued, and here we are today. A bit more in future short funk recordings. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.